Hey future RNs, welcome back to the channel where nursing success begins. Today we're breaking down growth and development, a super high yield topic for the NCLEX. We're talking about those tiny humans and the amazing things their brains and bodies can do. Don't worry, I've got your back. We're gonna crush this. Now this stuff is everywhere on the NCLEX because knowing how kids grow and develop helps you provide the best possible care. We're gonna make sure you're totally prepared. If you're ready to pass with confidence, hit that like button and subscribe, because here, we rise to RN status together. Alright, let's kick things off with the fundamentals. What exactly growth and development? Think of it like this. Growth is like that feeling when you hit the gym and your muscles get bigger. It's all about those awesome physical changes. A child shooting up in height, gaining weight, or their head getting bigger because those brains are growing. Development, on the other hand, is like leveling up in your favorite video game. It's how a child learns to interact with the world around them, talking, moving, thinking, and figuring things out. You know, like going from napping all day to acing those nursing exams. Now, we measure these milestones to make sure things are on track. Milestones are like checkpoints in a child's journey. They tell us if a child is developing as expected. For example, a 12-month-old should be able to stand on their own 2 feet, just like you'll be standing tall as a registered nurse very soon. So to sum it up, growth is the body's external glow-up, and development is all about that internal brainpower evolution. Remember, we're looking for those milestones to make sure everything is A-OK. Now let's meet the rock stars of developmental theory, the folks who cracked the code on how kids tick. First up, we've got Erikson, the psychosocial guru. He's all about those stages of personality development, from infancy to adulthood. Erikson says that at each stage, there's a conflict that needs to be resolved for healthy development. For example, babies need to learn to trust their caregivers. That's trust versus mistrust. Later on, teenagers are figuring out who they are. That's identity versus role confusion. Knowing these stages will help you analyze patient scenarios on the NCLEX. Next, we've got Piaget, the king of cognitive development. He's all about how kids learn to think. Piaget says that kids go through 4 stages of cognitive development, from the sensory motor stage, where babies explore the world through their senses, to the formal operational stage, where teenagers can think abstractly and solve complex problems. And of course, we can't forget about Sigmund Freud. He's the guy who talked about psychosexual development. Now, Freud's theories aren't always tested in depth on the NCLEX, but it's still good to be familiar with his stages: oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. Pop-up tip: focus on Erikson and Piaget for NCLEX. All right, future nurses, it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty, age-specific milestones. This is where the NCLEX rubber meets the road, so grab your notebooks and get ready to take some notes. Let's start with those adorable infants, from newborn to 12 months old. At 2 months, they're cooing, tracking objects with their eyes, and starting to smile. By 6 months, they're rolling over, babbling, and maybe even trying to sit up. At 9 months, they're crawling, responding to their name, and maybe even pulling themselves up. And by their first birthday, they're standing, cruising, and maybe even saying mama or dada. Next up, we've got toddlers, those little bundles of energy from 1 to 3 years old. By 2 years old, they're walking, running, climbing, and putting those 2-word phrases together. They're also starting to show their independent streak, but remember, they're still learning to share and take turns. By 3 years old, they're riding tricycles, talking in full sentences, and maybe even starting to potty train. Now let's move on to preschoolers, those curious and imaginative kids from 3 to 5 years old. At 4 years old, they're copying shapes, telling stories, and engaging in imaginative play. By 5 years old, they know their colors, can dress themselves, and are ready to take on the world of kindergarten. School-aged children from 6 to 12 years old are all about logic, rules, and fitting in with their peers. They're developing their problem-solving skills, learning to follow rules, and navigating the social world of school. Finally, we have adolescents, those teenagers from 12 to 18 years old who are trying to figure out who they are and where they fit in. They're going through puberty, developing abstract thinking skills, and exploring their identities. Pop-up tip: watch for red flags and delays. All right, future nurses, now that you're experts on growth and development, let's talk about how to ace those NCLEX questions. Remember, the NCLEX is all about applying your knowledge to real-life scenarios. When you get a growth and development question, the first thing you need to ask yourself is Is this behavior expected at this age? Knowing those age-specific milestones is crucial here. If a child is not meeting those milestones, it could be a red flag for developmental delays. Next, you need to consider whether the intervention or toy is developmentally appropriate. For example, you wouldn't give a 2-year-old a toy with small parts because they're still putting things in their mouths. Always choose the safest and most nurturing option for the child's developmental stage. Remember, safety is always a top priority on the NCLEX. If you see something that could potentially harm a child, that's a big red flag. Always choose the answer that prioritizes the child's safety and well-being. Example: a 2-year-old is hospitalized. Which toy is best? Answer: a soft toy they can hold. Why? Because toddlers are in parallel play. They play near, not with others. All right, future nurses, let's recap what we've learned today about growth and development. We talked about the difference between growth, which is all about those physical changes, and development, which is how a child learns to interact with the world. We met the rock stars of developmental theory, Erikson, Jean Piaget, and Sigmund Freud. We went through those age-specific milestones, from infants to adolescence, and we talked about how to apply all of this knowledge to ace those NCLEX questions. Now, I know this is a lot of information, but don't worry, you've got this. Just remember to memorize those key milestones. Know your Erikson and Piaget stages. Practice those age-based scenarios. And always think safety first. And most importantly, believe in yourself. You've got what it takes to be an amazing nurse. Keep studying hard, stay focused, and never give up on your dreams. That's a wrap on growth and development. We covered a ton of ground today, from those adorable infants to those independent adolescents. Remember, this stuff is pure NCLEX gold, so make sure you review it until you know it like the back of your hand. If this video helped you feel more confident about tackling growth and development on the NCLEX, give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're always in the loop. Now I want to hear from you. What other NCLEX topics are you struggling with? Drop a comment below and let me know what you want me to cover next. Until then, keep studying hard, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video. That's a wrap on growth and development. If this helped you, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video on your journey to RN status. Drop a comment with the next topic you'd like simplified.